matches, and in the event of a player injury or other fear, a replacement can be made during the game. The tournament consists of 2 stages, group competitions and playoffs, and the matches themselves will be held in a best-of-3 format. The 12 teams will advance to the second stage. The group stage is played in the GSL format, the playoffs in the Olympic format. Teams that finish the group stage without defeat go directly to the quarterfinals, and those that lose one match will compete in the last 16. Teams that lose both their group matches are eliminated from the tournament. Good luck and have fun.
The future.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Games of the Future 2024. As we step into the virtual arena today, we'll be seeing the top 4 teams in the world fight out in the semifinals for a prize pool of $1 million, the biggest prize pool we have seen so far in Mobile Legends. Buckle up, as today we'll be taking off on a flight very high in the sky through the semifinals. My name is Steph Weezy, all the way out from North America, and I'm honored to be a special guest on today's show to be able to cast these games. Now, introducing a special talent who's been a part of the scene in MLBB since the very beginning. It is rumored he pulls up in a new vehicle every day to the venue. His suits are made out of the finest quality fabric. He never wears the same shirt twice. Rumor also has it that his salary is double that of the Game of Futures prize pool, and his own personal bank is sitting in his backyard. One of the richest casters in the world, and I'm convinced he is from the future. You've seen him in MPL Philippines and all.
Созидание, способное объединять народы, вселенные и сохранять баланс мироздания. С развитием технологий люди стали больше погружаться в виртуальные миры, забывая про мир физический, обрекая гармонию на угасание. Чтобы восстановить баланс, гармония переродилась в жар птицы мира, отправилась сквозь вселенные в поисках героев, способных вернуть утраченную энергию. Избрав 5 сильнейших представителей, мира собрала их у куба советов, наделив их уникальной силой. Они стали хранителями гармонии, чья задача – охранять и поддерживать баланс. Советом было принято решение провести турнир, победитель которого распространит гармонию по свету. Для этой цели частицу гармонии во флейм, древний артефакт для сбора энергии. Хранителями было выбрано место для проведения турнира. Город с самым сильным соприкосновением энергии. Именно здесь миллионы зрителей и сильнейшие атлеты примут участие в величайших играх всех времен, чтобы определить достойнейших и восстановить баланс миров. Да начнутся игры.
And here we are. Like we stated, one of the richest casters in the world, and I'm convinced he's from the future. You've seen him in the MPL Philippines, MPL Indonesia, M1 all the way to M5. Introducing the richest caster in the world from the heart of the Philippines. Wolf is in the building. How you doing?
I'm stunned. Thank you so much for that intro. However, you know, I do wish that I am what you say I am. You know, if money was if it was a thing, you know, dude, I'd take all of it. But it's just, I'm actually stunned. I'm out of words. You know, this is the first time I probably stuttered in the introduction. So thank you so much, Steph, for that. And yeah, I would hope that as much hype. I hope that the games can bring as much hype as you did. Because like I said, I'm lost for words, dude. You stunned me.
I had to, man. I got to give credit where it's due. Definitely a bet in the game and semifinals. That's right. Today is the semifinals, guys. One step closer to figuring out who's the best in the world and who will be taking home majority of that $1 million prize pool and stepping into the grand finals. Now, let's do a little bit of a recap of what we've seen, right, throughout the entire tournament. We had 4 groups fighting it out for a couple of days, and then we moved on to the playoffs, which was one team getting knocked out from each group. And we had currently a couple of days of playoffs, right? We had round 1 and the quarterfinals, which were all amazing. We got to see RQ Hoshi take down the Burmese Schools, Apbren take out Homeboys, Blacklist International taken down by Fireflux Esports. Who would have thought Turkey stepping up into the scene and taking down a Filipino team? And then Onic, 2-1 up against RCC. They did lose a match. It was looking a little shaky. All right, now at the semifinals with some great matches ahead of us.
You know what, Steph? Watching the quarterfinals last night was, at least for Southeast Asians like me, I'm from the Philippines. When you're watching that, you're looking at quarterfinals 1 and 2, where you kind of expected that would happen, right? You know, as a Filipino, I would go for Apbren, and I know for sure that RQ Hoshi with 2 Filipinos in there, they're gonna take it. But my oh my, I can't believe that I'll be that surprised late in the night. This happened I think 2 a.m. in the Philippines, so we're all very, sleepy already. We're all drowsy. But then again, Fireflux Esports stuns Blacklist International 2-0 fashion after a very long time of not being able to defeat Blacklist International franchise versus franchise. They 2-0 Blacklist International in one of the biggest tournaments internationally for Mobile Legends. That's like mind blown. And then RCC takes away a game from Onic. Onic had to work for that series. Even the games that Onic won, they had to work hard for it. So all of the drowsiness, all of the sleepiness, it went away even when it's like 2 a.m. in the morning for Filipinos, or for Southeast Asians, just because of the act that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was definitely jam-packed and full of surprises, and I'm right there with you. Honestly, to be able to see Fireflux able to take a game from Blacklist, one of the most highly decorated teams on the Philippines, and to be able to take them down, I mean, they placed 3rd inside of M5, taking down a team which is kind of reminds me of Fireflux currently, which would be Deuce Volts, right? They had a high rise side of M5. They made it all the way to 4th place and then got taken down by Blacklist. But to see another region, Turkey, stepping up to the game and showing the world they're ready to take it to the next level, and they're going to have that shot here, right? I mean, you know what's so funny about today's matches? Semifinals game, match 1 or series 1, we have RQ Hoshi versus Apbren. We're going to be seeing Indonesia going up against the Philippines. I mean, with their new rosters, back to the RQ.
It's going to be about what my expectations were of RQ when they did announce the roster. It was incredibly high. And now they are actually proving that those expectations are well met. Now, with all of the success that RQ was able to get in the past few days for Games of the Future, you still have some doubts of their strength as a team, right? So I'll be completely honest. I'm not yet that convinced of what they have shown, just because in their first series, they almost lost both of their games, but then they came back. So there was a little bit of a shakiness, but that's understood, because this is a new team. So when now we're talking about top four, where they're up against teams that have great chemistry already, now that's when you start to ask questions. I still rate them very highly, right? So I think that with the coach that they have and the two Filipino players and then the rest of the Indonesians really stepping up for this team, my expectations and my rating for the team is still very high. But they probably gonna struggle in the top four.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be a challenge. We're now looking at Banana. Speaking about RQ Hoshi, just dominating with that Benedetta, rotating all around the map. Octa being such a strong force so far. Brusco stepping into the scene. You've seen all the amazing setups. Skylar, the crazy $1 million Layla play that we got to cast. Who would have thought we would have seen Layla in an international tournament? And Irrad dancing around the jungle, pulling out the Lancelot, getting the steals, getting the kills. And overall, some flawless execution as RQ Hoshi, straight out of Indonesia, looking stronger than ever.
So many good standout plays from Octa. Which is interesting. But now, of course, we have the mainstay from the team, like Banana. There's so many criticism that he was able to get when he started playing for RRQ back in MPL Season 10. Then after 3 seasons, still, people are not convinced on what Banana can bring to the table. But so far, in games of the future, you have noted some of the important games and important heroes that he's playing, like the Benedetta. That's surely something that you have to watch out for. And then, now they're facing Apbren.
Yep, Apbren stepping into the scene. Flap Teasy, not wasting any time. Definitely a fan favorite. You are seeing Pando sneaking up into the scene as well. Phew, there he is, looking stronger than ever. Heavy competitor in Ogwin. Can't wait to see these guys perform today. Apbren, like we said, the current champions from M5. Kyle Teasy himself throwing up that fist, ready to take the fight into the land of Dawn, as you are seeing them rev up. Just got to be excited to see this matchup, right? I mean, this should be technically the hardest contender inside a Game of the Futures 2024. They are the current world champions from last year.
Of course, the Fate tournament favorites. And then when you see them kind of slack off in the group stages, I mean, I will not mince my words here, but that's what we felt as Filipinos when they were watching Apbren. Now they fight against Homeboys, a team that's worthy to be a contender for the team. They destroyed the competition 2-0. Now I'm gonna say, like watching that previous series when they went up 2-0 against Homeboys, that was a stomp, And I'm not saying this because I'm from the Philippines and I know Apbren, but I'm saying that because that's literally what happened. It was very, very quick, and everything that Apbren was doing was connecting properly against their opponents. So what I'm trying to say here is, when you're looking at Apbren, it looked shaky when it comes to like the first few games in the group stages, but now during it's technically playoffs mode or the top 4 or the quarterfinals mode, they're different beasts. They really turned up, and everything that they did was perfect back then.
Yeah, definitely flawless execution so far. I mean, it's no secret, when you're sitting at that world champion. I mean, honestly, they're in a position where they have really everything to lose. Everybody wants to take down the biggest team in the world holding that championship title from the M Series. But so far, just a little bit of history from Game of Futures, what we've seen so far. They're currently undefeated. They're able to take down Homeboys opening day inside of Group B. They beat S2G and sent them home inside of the winners match, and then moved on past stage 1 into stage 2 of the playoffs and defeated Homeboys again and sent them home back into the airport. And then now today, we are going to be seeing them go up against another top region, MLBB, which is going to be Indonesia, or the Philippines. Or Indonesia. Yeah, we're right.
That's right. That should be a treat. I mean, this is something that the Filipinos would love to see. When the Filipino team, right, the only Filipino team left, will have to go through an Indonesia top-tier team, and then will eventually, or might be, getting into the finals against another Indonesian team, right? So, and especially because they're in the top 4 and this is a single elimination bracket, all of the matches now for Apbren will be difficult. They're going to be facing up against great teams and, worthy contenders of the championship. That is how you know that, okay, this is a time where the championship, the world championship, should be defended. This is how you should defend it, So I'm just excited and very curious on what might happen for Apbren versus RQ Hoshi, and surely all of the Filipinos are very much excited now.
Yeah, I mean, they are the last stand for the Philippines, right? Seeing Blacklist taken down, they're the only ones sitting from the Philippines region to be able to hold that banner inside a Game of Futures
Okay.
2024. But they're looking very promising as we are going to be progressing through these matches, and I definitely expect some flawless execution. But I think this may be one of the spiciest series that we've seen so far in Game of Futures 2024.
Yeah, for sure. And it's spicy enough to kind of, it's spicy enough to up some of the important emotions from the fans, right? So I'm gonna bring something up here, Steph. One of my friends, one of my dear friends, Manjin, and I'm sure you know him, right? And when you're watching back in M4, when there's RQ, when there's Echo, when there's Blacklist, there are Filipino teams. He's the guy that said that, yeah, you know, Onyx has been carried by a Filipino. He's that kind of guy, right? So now, he is actually like raising up the spirits of the Filipinos, and I think that he wants proof that yeah, the Filipino teams are really, you know, top tier. That it's still Filipino era. So do watch his stream. Well, not right now because you have to watch. Please watch us. Don't go to his stream. But if maybe if you're a Filipino, you want the history stream, do watch him right now. He's support the Philippines, but now he's up for the challenge. So no matter if there's someone, especially from Indonesia, watching right now that wants to challenge Mr. Manjin Faldas in a dance-off or whatever, or maybe if it's a Mobile Legends game, he's up for it. And I brought this up because this is how much passion there is for the Filipino fans right now. Remember, this is 12 a.m. in the Philippines, right? So people are doing extra stuff. They're exerting more effort just to support the Philippines, and that's how passionate they are. So, yeah, big shout out to my friend Manjin Faldas, actually, and the Filipino fans. And
Wolf's introduction. Now, talking about Apbren, right? Let's kind of dive a little bit more into. So far, we've been seeing a couple of key players rise to the occasion. Flat T's on the CC, normally picking it up, having such a great impact on kind of harassing members, creating the separation from mobility and taking the neutral objectives. We've seen Super Marco pulling out the Navaria. He was able to take down Twisted Minds twice and also used it against the Homeboys and shut them down. Both of them, just some heavy key players so far that are going to have to be looked out for if they
be what hero plays. That really lose the games. And if you look at the M5 World Championship, whenever they go for individual solo flat and rely on that kind of strategy, doesn't work. But if they activate as a team, where everybody's just, you know, making sure that everybody else is working because they are activated by someone else, like the gold laner being activated by the roamer, or the mid laner making sure that the jungle is able to rotate properly by creating out the minion wave in the middle. And then when they do team fight, it's all connected. That's the main strength of Apbren. I think that's very visible in the series against Homeboys. You saw how perfectly Apbren played against Homeboys because they played as a team. And that is how you actually force Apbren. This is actually a tip for RQ Hoshi. If you want to defeat Apbren, what you need to do is to force them to make the hero plays, right? So isolate them from the map, make sure that there's a 1v1 play that might happen between you and the Apbren, and then all of a sudden the rotation might crumble. But that's hard to do.
Yeah, and speaking of things popping up on the game and what to expect, we are seeing the Nolan banned out first from RQ Hoshi alongside the Mathilda. A little bit textbook. We've seen the Nolan deal a lot of early game damage, just being able to rotate around that jungle and be a menace. The Mathilda, I feel like, is one of those more staple bans that we've been seeing so far. Everybody's scared for that mobility, sustainability that she provides. Very hard to kind of keep up with. But you spoke a little bit about Apbren and what RQ Hoshi could do to take them down. Let's talk about the other side of the board. What could our Apbren do to take RQ Hoshi down? Now, I would say it's going to start with taking down Skylar and Banana in the side lanes. So far, I had the pleasure of kind of casting Group A and watching their entire journey so far. And they pretty much every single time won in the side lanes. You'd see Banana rotating around, seeing the Benedetta, able to cut the lanes, get the neutral objectives, and create the separation for the Lord fights. But then also at the same point, you got to see Skylar. Normally, he's beating that marksman one-on-one in the gold lane, and then even when things don't look in their favor, he pulls out a Layla last minute and still was able to pull out the victory. So, I mean, they definitely have a lot of momentum behind them, and that's something AP Bren is going to have to watch out for.
And this is the thing for RQ Hoshi. They have Coach Ren now working for them as their head coach. Obviously, a very important tool in deciding these drafts, and him knowing what AP Bren's wiring will be. That's a very interesting dynamic. Surely, there's a new coach in town for AP Bren, so maybe the dynamic will be a little bit different. But the fact that for Coach Ren, he knew from the start what made AP Bren successful, especially during the M5 World Championship, where their draft was really tailored to make it work for Caltisi as well as Super Marco, right? So that would be the dynamic. And now going back to what you just said about the side lanes of RQ Hoshi, and yes, I did observe that their drafting pattern is more lean towards winning the side lanes matchup per matchup so that they don't have to worry about it. And now they can refocus their efforts into making sure that the mid lane trio moves quickly. So now AP Bren, I think that they might go for Arlott this time. And knowing that Arlott is one of those heroes that really like it, it's an open pick. That might be the way for them to go. Apart from that, Nana is open, as well as Ruby, which is interestingly the hero of choice for Games of the Future.
You know, and speaking of things that are interesting, some smart drafting from RQ Hoshi, right? I mean, we got to see AP Bren. They were favoring the CC in majority of their games so far in Game of Futures. So they went ahead and took it away from them inside of this first pickup. And then to top it off, if we kind of look at their ban so far, they banned out the Navaria, one of the hottest picks so far over there for AP Bren. And taking that off the board is going to kind of limit some of the heroes that we've seen them shine on so far in Game of Futures 2024. But there's still another pick out there. That was the Faramis being slotted up, so they will have that sustainability that they're looking for. And then some good frontline composition as well, as they are going to lock in the Baxia.
Yeah, very interesting choice here for AP Bren, going in straight for the utility jungler. Obviously, the Nolan as well as Joy is out, but their choice now is go for what works, right? So we're not yet over the phase of the utility junglers. We're not over the Fredrin, Baksha, Martis triangle that we have. As long as Joy and Nolan are both banned out, there's really no other merit for teams to go for non-utility junglers. Now, one hero that is very important here is the Faramis. Because you're already opened up with the CC, that means that you can't have access to other XP laners that can actually take down the H bars of this Faramis or the extra HP from the ultimate. But Lilia is a great answer. And this is really such a Vren pattern. Like, pick up the Lilia, match up against the Faramis. We're all back in the M5 meta. It's just that CC is on the table.
Yeah, and CC definitely being on the table is going to create some problems. Now, looking at AP Bren, I mean, they got sustainability, they have the crowd control, they have mobility provided from the Boxy as well, and some great strong frontline compositions. We're going to have to see who they put in as the marks. We've been seeing Super Marco kind of dominate. He's been running the Claude, the carry. We also got to see him on the Brody with some great gameplay. All three of these heroes inside of his hands are a problem, and we'll need to have some answers. But speaking of answers, they're going to throw some more CC and sustainability into the mix. AP Bren picking up the Ruby. Now, that's definitely going to be something that could give RQ Hoshi a problem.
Yeah. This is a hero that can step into the bush, maybe tank some of the glooms coming up from Lilia, although not fully. Doesn't really care about pokes. Because if you're looking at RQ Hoshi, right, just with the two heroes, with CC as well as Lilia, they have a lot of damage, but they're not the burst of damage. I mean, you can argue that for the Lilia if you set up properly. But if you think about it, still is under the stereotype or the archetype of poke, right? Maybe the only tier coming up from Arkeoshi is the Tyroth, which makes a lot of sense against the Baksha. But if you're looking at AP Brent, because they're a sustained lineup, pokes will not work. Maybe Arkeoshi will look for big bursts from their marksman now. So maybe they closed this out with a carry, for example, or somewhere along the lines of a Nathan, actually, which I'm not entirely sure if Haruki Hoshi have played or mastered before, but it is a hero that you can actually put here against the composition of AP Bren. Because it's a Faramis plus the Ruby, as well as the Baksha, you would assume that this could be a front-to-back kind of composition coming up from AP Bren.
Yeah, definitely could be a strong answer. I mean, the only other marksman that we haven't seen, I would say really Mage, but ran in the gold lane position. We did see them pull out the Hareth, A lot of teams have been banning that away from them, and I don't think it would be the worst option to be able to pick up here. So I wonder if they're going to kind of ban that out. We are seeing the Minotaur, though, taken off the table. I mean, I think that's a good answer, especially with the Diggy not being banned out. It could be some great CC that could give AP Bren a problem. I mean, considering they are running the Faramis, so they're going to have to be kind of stacked together in these engagements to be able to profit from that nether realm. But speaking about profiting, right, we're still yet to see who they're going to be running in the gold lane positions from either side. Now, we know the staple marksmen that are usually kind of picked up is that Claude, is that Brody, which just got banned out. A possible Clint on the way for AP Bren could be a viable answer. All of these have definitely been, say, some problems. And I wouldn't just say for just these two teams, but overall, just one of the most highly picked marksmen in Game of Futures 2024.
Yeah, for sure. And that could be a priority now for AP Bren. Maybe they pick up their marksman now because they want to keep the Ruby's flexibility from Rome as well as EXP. Maybe they snatch the Nathan actually, because it makes a lot of sense against CC, in a way against this Lilia, because you can really dodge that so easily. And then it's a hero that is okay if there's smoke from the other side. But instead they go Paquito instantly for maybe Bren. That confirms the Ruby from that's going to be the Rome here. RRQ Hoshi needs a little bit of burst type of marksman, right? So they banned the Brody. Maybe they go carry, but carry is generally not the hero against a Faramis. So I'm thinking like Beatrix or Nathan actually from RRQ Hoshi.
I'll throw one more at you. Maybe even throwing in the Bruno may actually slide in here. They've definitely been kind of going in on that, and I wonder which way it's going to go. I think burst potential is definitely what they need, especially against a strong frontline composition. I mean, you have the Ruby, the Buxia. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Skylar again! It's because you have the richest caster on the desk. That's what's going on. $1 million caster,
what?
$1 million Layla.
No. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that they'll do it against Bren. But it, it worked before. It is a great laning, generally against most marksmen, just because of the range. And then they go Kufra. All right, so they force RQ Hoshi to really dig into the bag of tricks of Brusco now. And maybe something that I'll talk about later on. Look at AP Bren's last two bans. It's Haka Brusco. They're minimizing what Brusco can play, forcing him to go for the Kufra. And then the Kufra is not necessarily a bad hero, but it doesn't really give anything in the mid lane. It will not protect the Lilia. It will not force out the Faramis because they're going to be safe. And then the Ruby is just able to scout out where Kufra is. That's the thing with the Ruby, right? So you can mirror where the Kufra is, and the Kufra can't do anything. Like, cannot initiate because you'll always be in front of that Kufra. There's the Clint, as you've mentioned. Better range against the Layla just because of the passive. Definitely a lot more outplay potential compared to the Layla. And very strong when it comes to team fighting in the early stages of the game. Massive chance for them to take this. So this is actually a pretty good draft between two teams. I'm excited to see what the Layla can bring to the table.
And I'm just as thrilled as you are. We didn't get to see that last pick for what they're going to slot against the Layla in the gold lane. When I tried to guess the last time, that's when the Layla came out. We don't know yet. As we jump to the Land of Dawn, we'll definitely let you guys know. But nonetheless, we're up for a great match in today's first series of the day, stepping into the virtual arena. We are in the semifinals for Game of Futures 2024. We're going to be seeing Indonesia up against AP Bren, holding the banner from Indonesia and holding the banner for the Philippines. The last Filipino team standing so far as Blacklist was knocked down. Will we be able to see AP Bren push on forth the grand final? Or will we see RQ Hoshi rise to the occasion?
It's be close. Is this how Bren defeats his former team? Right? Is it the Layla that we will see in this particular matchup that eventually overcomes AP Bren? We'll be able to find out. For now, I'm looking at the matchups in all of the lanes. First off, Clint versus Layla. I gotta say, like, maybe it's still Clint favored, like if it's a pure 1v1, just because of the passive. And that's always been the case for Clint. He can win the laning stage just because of the passive. And I'm sure that Super Marco is pretty much able to be adept with that hero. Now we're looking at the other end. It's Paquito going up against the CC. Now this is like very tricky. It still is matchup based, but I gotta say it's probably is CC favored in a way that it's easier for the CC to do well against the Paquito. It's not a win per se, but it's much easier for that one. But now Mew,
Yeah, it's going to rush in a little bit of damage in the mid lane. I love how you kind of broke down some of these matchups, right? I mean, when we're looking at the Layla, we know it's a really late game and damage killer that can close the game out if you let her kind of get those items. And also, I always like to call it a glass cannon, right? Very squishy in the beginning, easy to kill if you can die. Is for AP Bren if they do want to shut down Skylar, because I mean we all seen how this played out before, right? So can AP Bren be the difference and not have the same thing happen to them? As you are seeing a big flash in the mid lane, not able to connect with the Abysm Strike, with some early aggression from RQ Hoshi.
we haven't really talked much about this Dareth, but I do like this pickup. Third pickup enough from RQ Hoshi. After the action was already revealed, they're confident enough to go for the jungle Dareth, which we know is a direct answer to the action, right? So it has enough to counteract the sustainment you get from the back. And there's no hero from AP Bren, even the Ruby, that can stay in.
It out in front of the turtle. Does get me Nether Realm activated over there, trying to keep the few being able to proc it. Ogwin will find Irrad, though, does take down the Dirod we were just talking about. Meaning RQ Hoshi will not have the retribution, and the first objective will go to AP Bren.
I see AP Bren, after the vengeance was popped from Banana, immediately they just, okay, they dropped it like it's a very hot plate. And then this ultimate, which allowed them to. That is the main weakness of the hero, by the way. No immediate dash. Oh my god, that's the problem. That's the problem with Kufra, right? It doesn't really actually protect teammates anymore. Especially if you start the fight with the jump.
You kind of called it the ace in the hole that they need to look out for. The Kufra could be a possible problem trying to protect Skylar. I mean, some great setups from Ogwin, hitting them with Yama Fended. A lot of chain CC from that Ruby. And also sustainability to stay alive when that Layla's trying to burst him down. With Super Marco taking up that kill, we'll put him at a slight advantage. You know, he's trying to kind of scale a little bit better than a Layla. We mentioned if they can take down Skylar in the early phase, this is where you see the glass cannon of Layla kind of break down.
Yeah. See the Ruby as well coming out from Ogwin, not even needing the flicker in that moment. That's gonna be hurtful for RQ Hoshi, but that's also something that Brusco has to learn from now. He has to really delegate himself and his skills to save his teammates and not initiate for now, because they don't have that license to start the fights. Maybe if they have the conceal already, that's when they can probably make a play out of the Kufra. But for now, your duty as this Kufra from Brusco is just for protecting your teammates.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of protecting teammates, I mean, we did see it go to a 30-minute game the last time RQ Hoshi had the Layla. So even though they were kind of getting a lot of objectives taken from them and having a hard time, they were able to still sustain themselves until Skylar got all of those items necessary, and then he was able to get the game winner to close out the game. So AP Bren, even though they have the slight advantage, 2 kills up, we need to see them kind of close it out. That's where Deus Foods kind of struggled up against the Layla. Even though they dominated in the early phase, in the mid game, they just couldn't close the game out. And then that's when Skylar came alive. But right now, AP Bren sitting really good in the early phase of things.
If you look back 20 or 30 seconds ago, you can see AP Bren's micro rotation, wherein they went in for the crab play. And they gave it to Super Marco, but out of the dash in the middle.
Yeah, big knockup for the stun. Hitting Kyle TZ and Few, forcing out the Nether Realm, keeping the team alive. Abysm Strike, not going to deal the damage Irrad was looking for. And back to the purple buff he goes. Vengeance proc by Banana. Very low, will disengage into the mid lane.
And that's actually what Brusco needs to be doing. Imagine if he initiated first, he couldn't have defended his teammates. However, Irad wanted to go for the play when there is still Fire Mist ultimate. And unfortunately for RQ Hoshi, this is the power spike for Apbren. When you have the backshot that at the first turtle, it's gonna be great.
Speaking of things that are great, massive damage. Destruction Rush able to connect onto Ogwin from Skylar. You're already seeing how heavy of a hitter that Layla can be. Irrad trying to close the distance. A business strike on the Super Marco, but now hit with the stun. Kyle Teasy hiding the damage, slowing him down, trying to get a pick off. Down he goes. Few will take down Irrad on the aggressive back lane play. And that'll be 3.
A quarter HP or even less, Marco will be able to attack for a bit, maybe lifesteal a bit, get out into safety, and then Kyle Teasy jumped into the fray. That one weird interaction is that Brusco didn't immediately jump into Tyrant's Revenge. He waited for far too long, and that might have been the reason why did not survive that. If because he's already in range, tried to stop his teammate, but that costed them a death on Irad. So sometimes those trade-offs, even if you maybe sacrifice your life as the Kufra, you're gonna be way better off if Irad survived that play. So that is something that really is gonna be the dilemma for RQ.
Things Apbren could do to shut down. RQ Hoshi definitely putting some discomfort in the gold lane and the XP lane, taking down Skylar, taking Banana. They found a kill on Skylar, and they were also able to extend the goalie for their marks. And he's now up 1,000 gold Super Marco over him. But speaking about the lanes, Few will find Skylar, and you are seeing the chase on a Brusco flat easy. Gonna hit him with the heavy left punch. That is gonna be 2 more kills for the side of Apbren, and now a 4,000 gold lead.
It's gonna bite. Even Octa has to run away for now. They're gonna be going for the turtle. I think this is Apbren's. Oh, Irad! Okay, never mind. Okay. The mechanic, working on it.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, while they got the turtle on the bot side, though, you did see Flapteezy take that tier 2 turret. So they have map control for the side Apbren and also a great gold lead. Even though they didn't claim that turtle, I would still say overall that's a better trade for them, which is how far ahead they are for RQ Hoshi. They need to start translating some of these objectives. In their favor, right? Maybe opening up the map would be a great start, because I don't know if Apbren's the type of team that's going to let them take it to a 30-minute game like Days Full.
Yeah, Apbren is known for to go for the, like in the movies, go for the head. Should have aimed for that. That's definitely what Apbren is trying to do almost all the time, especially the way that they're drafting. And then you really have to commend Apbren from their previous rotations. Like every rotation, be it micro or macro rotation, benefits the team in general. Like for example, what I said earlier, when they went in for the play up top for Super Marco to give him the gold grab. That's that looks like a small play, but if you compound all of those plays all together, you can see Apbren really just dominating the map afterwards. Then after this before the turtle fight, they moved in a way that they were able to poke RQ Hoshi, they were able to poke Octa. Then that meant that they can push easily. Another play.
Yeah, big play on the way. Super Marco will find Banana. They opted in on the conceal play, just went straight forward as a full 5-man team to be able to take him down. Used a lot of utility though, but was able to extend that kill lead now 6-2-0. I mean, this gold is steady climbing. They're up by like 6,000 gold now, 3 turrets in. two above RQ Hoshi. RQ Hoshi has yet to find a kill so far in this entire game, as we are hitting that 10-minute mark. A little bit of a struggle in today's matchup. But like we said, RQ Hoshi, when they pick up the Layla, they're banking on the late game. We know we're going to lose a little bit in the early phase, in the mid phase even, but if we can hold off, they can turn this around. But Apbren, like you said, going straight for the head, cutting the head off the Serpent. What they're looking to do, trying to shut him down. You are going to see big setup, though. Banana taking the half HP. Kyle Teasy going in for the kill. Flat Teasy joining him. We'll take him down. Netherrealm, keep Apbren alive. Flat Teasy will find irrad with heavy left punch. Two members falling for RQ Hoshi, and the Lord Pit has been controlled by Apbren. But can we see RQ Hoshi turn this around? No. Looks like they are going to have to disengage. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the damage. And they're also too far behind in the economy.
It can now be proven that Apbren is the tournament's tempo controller. Oh, Brusco with a play.
Rushes in on the Skylark. Flap Teasy. Get it. The dynamic duo in effect. Brusco very low, makes his way into the tier 2 turret, which may open up the opportunity for Ogwin to try and push in. But you are seeing Octa over there. Both teams fighting out. Yeah. Now going over to that purple buff for a slight invasion. Man, overall, such a great game for Apbren. RQ Hoshi, what do they do to turn this around?
Well, they have to regain the tempo at the very least. Second, if they can't do that, the only other option here is to just survive this mid game. Just make sure that you don't lose your base. Maybe try to win when everyone is locked for 3 minutes. But that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, definitely going to be a challenge. Destruction Rush going out from Skylar, trying to clear those minions. Not even enough damage to do that. Down goes the tier 2 turret in the mid lane. And now you're looking at RRQ Hoshi stripped down to their inhibitors.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult now for RQ Hoshi for sure. I gotta say, there was this play that Apbren did again in the mid lane where Super Marco looked to be alone in the mid lane when he's pushing. But already Flap TZ is pushing that is already positioned in that bush near the mid lane, so that left side of the turret. That's why even after the initiation coming up from Brusco with the Flicker Tyrant's Revenge, and we know that Octa is there for damage, Apbren was prepared. This tells us that whatever Apbren is doing, they're doing the buddy system, or the same, or at the very least they're making a macro play for it. In that specific case, like look at the bush that Counties is holding. When somebody shows himself in the mid lane, it's an ambush, right? So nobody from Apbren is ever alone. They will not make the play that looks like they're isolated. This is championship caliber team that you're seeing. They have plans every time that they're trying to move.
And this is kind of looking similar to the game with Deus Volt up against RQ Hoshi when RQ Hoshi picked up the Layla. And the problem was Deus Volt was not able to close the game out, even with this massive boost in the economy and the objectives overall on the map. But Apbren let them know, hey, we are the champions, and we planned to let it stay that way, as they are going to go in with the concealed play. Kyle TZ initiating onto RQ Hoshi. A double stun. Black TZ will find irrad. One member falling. And it looks like RQ Hoshi will be forced back into the base. Apbren in total control.
Wow. 10-0. And the grip is not loosening at all. You see RQ Hoshi being desperate for farm. And they're trying to do everything that they can just to get the farm. And all things considered, irrad might have gone for the only play possible. Yeah, obviously he died, but then again, Apbren knew exactly that will happen. And now Lord Fight, no retribution for RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, Brusco winding up, decides to hit a quick 180. Wasn't able to find the opportunity. Skylar trying to get the steal, unable to connect with the Destruction Rush. Apbren will claim this Lord, and a body of Super Marco will take down Brusco. I would call that a 2-for-none trade. And right now, we haven't seen RQ Hoshi really take any objectives, no kills. And so far, it's been more of a reactionary side of things for them. Apbren just controlling the tempo.
You nailed the right term for RQ Hoshi. Yeah, they're reactionary, heavily reactive. They're not making the heads-up play, right? They're not making a play. That's what I'm trying to say here for RQ Hoshi. They're always just reacting to what Apbren is doing, and that is how you know a team has controlled the tempo, right? So whatever is happening to RQ Hoshi right now is not entirely their fault. It's Apbren just forcing them to be in that spot. Apbren are so active, and they're taking control of the tempo so quickly.
Yeah, speaking about taking control, stepping into the base for RQ Hoshi for a possible early finish. Apbren trying to seize the opportunity, but the Lord is getting bursted down. It has now fallen, and out of the base, Apbren goes. Now, it is now 15 minutes in, getting to that 15-minute mark. Like we said, the later the game goes, the better it'll be for RQ Hoshi to be able to turn this around. When the nature pickup from Super Marco, definitely getting ready to kind of take that fight and negate the physical damage, as you are seeing them possibly go in to try and take some of these remaining inhibitor turrets.
Apbren very disciplined in this push, even when they're leading by so much. Gonna try to dive, and flat easy with the halberd. That's gonna be deadly. I mean, that is your way of dealing with the Layla, even in the latter portions of the game, even in the late game. Surely the win of nature for Skylar will be key, and I think that he will pick that up later on. But imagine in a refreshed team fight, that halberd pickup coming out from Flapteasy is gonna destroy Skylar.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard, right, for the side of RQ Hoshi to turn this around. I mean, Brusco, up to a rough start, not really able to find the opportunities for the sets he was looking for. And it's going to be a challenge, especially going up against Ogwin on this Ruby. I mean, even if he tries to hit a Tyrant's Revenge or Tyrant's Rage, for a group setup, I mean, Ogwin just has to provide a little bit of chain CC to kind of stop him in his tracks. And I feel like that's a little bit of the struggle we've been seeing so far for him to be able to get those setups that RQ Hoshi is baiting for.
Yeah, kind of. I'm coming up of ways for Arkeoshi to come back from this game. The number one option, obviously, is just to rely on the late game of Layla, which is honestly not a bad idea if you think about it. I mean, that's their only way. There's really no other way for them to win this game apart from really depend on Skylar and his immense amount of damage in the late game. So how do they get them to that point? My magic number is 23 minutes, where everybody's just farmed out. Everybody's just locked item, and it wouldn't matter if you lose one inhibitor or maybe all of your inhibitors. It wouldn't matter as long as you keep your base, and your defense will be there. You have the little ways to breach you into that late game because you have Wave Fear. Then again, will Apbren allow that? Because so far, Apbren, they have now the luxury to go for banana.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and do the banana splits. Super Marco taking him down. Ice Cream Sunday. We'll be able to find one member, RQ Hoshi. Tried to get that contest on that last minute Lord still. Didn't really work out in his favor, and that's gonna put RQ Hoshi in a disposition in this team fight.
I really questionable play coming up from Banana going for that. I mean, they have already conceded the Lord. They didn't have to really look into the Lord, knowing that there's a lot of catch from Apbren. You have Kyle Easy, and you have Ogun with the flicker and Flapteasy. Then you're a CC with only one legitimate dash. So, really questionable play coming up from Banana out there.
Yeah, and Apbren holding the banner for the Philippines, trying to find their first game of the day up against Indonesia RQ Hoshi. But some great defense. They were able to burst down that Lord to hold off Apbren from closing out this game a second time. Mentioned that 23 mark being the time that we were going to be looking to for RQ Hoshi to have the damage necessary with all the late game items for Skylar to turn this around. Trust in Layla, the $1 million baby in the scenes, could make the difference.
Maybe Bren are going to be disciplined once more. I want to keep this 12-0 love set as much as possible. You don't understand why. RQ Hoshi going to have to really commend their defense, even when it was 4v5. They were able to keep Skylar safe. That's always going to be the case. And like I said, the Lilia is the bridge for them to get into the late game. You can set up your bombs. But now, Kautisi wants to fight. Oh my God.
Octa very low, trying to get away. Use the black shoes. Ogwin on the chase, but a massive damage output. Another one going down. Super Marco will find Brusco. Few takes down Octa. Two members down from the side of RRQ Hoshi. Make that a third as Super Marco gets another. Is going to go ahead and shut down Irrad, leaving Skylar and Banana, the side laners who've been dealing so much damage in Game of Futures 2024 by themselves. Apbren, Kyle Teasy will shut down the $1 million baby. Skylar will fall. Banana trying to get away, but running the wrong direction. Looks like he won't be able to contest. They're just going to let him get out of there. He's not going to be able to recall back. Still will get the kill and a full wipeout against RRQ Hoshi. RQ Hoshi, Brusco will fall though. Super Marco finding his first kill of the game. That will go into the hands of Apbren, but they lose the neutral objective. A 1,000 gold lead for RQ Hoshi.
Irrad. Okay.
Gonna rush in, big wild charge for the knockup. Irrad will be able to get out of there though. Very low on the HP, electrifying blow going down from Banana through the Guardian's barrier provided over there from Ogwin, who has had some really good setups with it. I think his placement have been pretty valid so far in the early phase.
Yeah. I got a little bit scared for Irrad almost going down, but fortunately he has the help of Octa with his Vexana. The position is just way too good for his Vexana. Octa is just providing so much defense for his team while also outputting the damage, right? So you cannot really just dive as Apbren. And if you're thinking about the composition of Apbren, they're mainly like, I would say melee based. Thinking about it, like Brody has it, without the ultimate, Brody's range is not that good. And that's why they need to go up close and personal as gets melted down few, just a fraction of a second too late with the Fire Missile ultimate.
Yeah, nice and early pickoff from the side play of the Bush in the mid lane. And now maybe able to seize the opportunity to take this tier 2 turret. Skylar not wasting any time. For Q Hoshi, and so far, are getting everything they have came for. Apbren is now the team that is reacting to RQ Hoshi.
It's really good from RQ Hoshi. This is the tempo that we're looking for. They will not leave each other. They will let Banana do the split for them. And both Octa as well as Skylar's, they're going to be able to output the damage that they needed because of the two bad dudes in the front line. That's Irrad and Brusco. And I don't know if you know this already, but Brusco in Tagalog can also mean something like a big dude in the front line, like a brawn kind of dude. Like when you say when you're Brusco, you're like a jacked kind of dude in the front lines.
Yeah, definitely showcasing it and living up to that name. And it's a lot of things going on in the mid lane from both sides of the table. Bodies may drop here in a matter of seconds. You are seeing the Terrify go down. Octa able to find Flaxeasy, unable to find his way back to his side of the jungle. One member down for the side of Apbren. 3 seconds until the Lord spawns in.
Oh man, they're nullifying the Lapu-Lapu by outputting so much damage against Skylar. Good hit on the second skill, and now Count Easy goes into the fray.
Yeah, he's gonna rush in, hit with the Terrified though. Irrad trying to get away. The wall will drop again from Ogwin. We talked about his placements on these Guardian barriers. Definitely not disappointing today. Brusco, very low, tone apart mid-range. Super Marco will find him, and Noam Fury goes down right before he falls. For the setup on the Apbren, Irrad will find the Lord. That is a big play for the side of RQ Hoshi to continue their tempo. Super Marco takes down Banana to respond. 2 members falling for the side of RQ Hoshi, but able to claim this Lord.
All due fairness, RQ Hoshi's Lord Dance is great. They got the Lord after that. But Apbren, they're juggling. Their isolation moves are looking very neat. And that's the thing for RQ Hoshi. The only reason for them to lose some of their members is that if somebody gets isolated. And it's exactly what happened with Brusco as well as Banana. Nevertheless, they still secured the Lord, which is much more important in this case. Like losing your roamer for the Lord is definitely a positive trait for you. And RQ Hoshi can now take over the map once again.
Yeah, with that Lord marching down on the bot side. Another tier 2 turret in their favor. Now leading 4 turrets to Grin, and may claim more in the mid lane as they are going to siege for that tier 1. It will fall into their hands. 3 major objectives, 2 turrets and a Lord over to their side so far. Even on the kills though, but down in the economy by 4,000 gold behind Apbren.
Yeah. Looking really good for the Nathan as well. For now, I mean, we haven't been talking about Skylar, but he is actually left in the kitchen for quite a long time now. 7.5K, 1,000 gold ahead of the Brody. And already up with 3 items. And by the way, Crystal and Stardom set with the Feather of Heaven, that's gonna hurt. If you see someone just stay in front of Nathan for 1 or 2 seconds, no matter who that is, that guy's gonna die. And the only saving grace here for Apbren is that they have the Fabulous ultimate. Even Kyle, look at him, takes so.
Ooh, big Minoan Fury as well for the knockup. The response back though, Bruce going very low.